Hello guys and welcome to today's video. And in today's video we're going to be talking about the chance for a severe weather outbreak in the deep south here. And as you can see, we got a really large chunk of real estate here either under, thunderstorm, marginal, slight enhance, or this big chungus moderate risk here. Now you're probably thinking that moderate size is pretty decently large here. Is there a chance that we could possibly see the high risk in there? It could happen. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions of how they could put a high risk in here. And, I think one of the misconceptions here is that it has to have a massive tornado outbreak. And that's not the case. That's not the case. You can either get a high chance on hail, wind, rain, not just tornadoes. It culminates on any part of which one of those are the most severe in any given outbreak. But obviously, my thoughts are that we're probably not going to see a high risk here. Just as we're already here, we're already at the moment here of the thunderstorms. That are starting to build up and what have you. I mean, they could, but I'm going to go with a no here. All right, so here we are. This is the tornado outbreak signature here, and as you can see, we got 2% here for Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida here. Then 5% here is pretty much in the same locations. If you add Arkansas and Texas, Louisiana, and Alabama here, then you got these 10% here, which you do got the significant, marks in here for the 10%. And then you got a massive 15% chance of significant tornadoes, which is EF3 or higher on the scale. Now, you're gonna have to watch out for a few things here, which we will go over here in due order. You're gonna have to look out for the Cape values. Those are going to be creeping up from the Gulf of Mexico into some of these states a little bit later on. You got to look out for the clearing, which will allow the sun to destabilize the atmosphere around it, which will cause the daytime heating to heat up and give up the energy for these supercells to form. And I've already mentioned the third one already. So heat, we need heat. With that being said, that is the tornado threat here. All right, so now we're going to look at the wind threat. And right now you can see a 45% significant, wind event here. So that can entail anywhere from 70 miles per hour to 80 miles per hour and even above 80 miles per hour. And that's why I said that there could be a chance that we could see a high risk put on there from the course of the day because of the wind threat. And you're just gonna have to really pay attention to the discrete supercells that could form in these areas later today with the daytime heating. All right, there is a chance of hail here, and that is a 5% chance for areas of Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, very small parts of western Georgia and Tennessee here, and a small slither of Kentucky and Missouri to go along with it. So, this is the chance to see 2-inch diameter hail in any given point within 25 miles. So, there's a chance of hail. Obviously hail can be a very dangerous tool as well, as it can they can definitely dent people pretty nicely if it's falling down really fast. It could crack windshields, go through windows, house windows if it really wants to, or roofs if you want to go with gorilla size hail, which obviously we're not going to be anticipating that today. But hail is very dangerous when it comes to severe weather, so that is why I am kind of worried about that here. And we're going to take a look at the radar here. I've got to scooch along here. So this is real-time radar here, and as you can see, we've already got thunderstorms that are popping up here. We've definitely had some tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings already this morning, but I'm sure by the time I post this and people watch, so there's probably not going to be any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings out there. But the day is still young. We're probably going to see many severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings as we head out through the day. Now we're going to take a look at this radar here. And as you can see, these thunderstorms are going to start moving through Shreveport. And as you can see, around the noon to 1 p.m. Time frame, we're going to pause this here. This is the 2 p.m. Position of these severe thunderstorms. You can see how big this line of storms are as it heads into Arkansas, Louisiana, and now we're starting to get some discrete action here in parts of Mississippi and Tennessee ahead of this front here. So these discrete cells, or your primary, strong tornado makers and long-lived tornadoes, happen with discrete, the supercells here, and this. But that's not to say this line of severe storms isn't capable of producing tornadoes as well, because they are known for spamming tornadoes, but are usually weaker and very short-lived. So, you got to look out for your discretes, and then you got to look out for your lined tornadoes too, because whether you get a long-lived strong tornado or you're getting spammed, it's still going to end up being a bad situation for anybody that gets hit with a tornado. So with that being said, let's keep this going. And as you can see, these lines, coming into Mississippi as pretty healthy as possible. We're definitely going to get some wild weather here today in parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. Hopefully New Orleans gets spared today, but they're under the chance of severe weather as well. So sadly, you might have to go through it again, but hopefully just a thunderstorm, instead of a tornado. We don't want the tornado in that part of the United States. All right, so we're gonna refresh this again. Look at the surface cape, and as you can see, we are looking at some cape values here in the Gulf of Mexico that are going to be making their way north as we head out through the day today. As you can see, we got some 500s, thousands, and even some 1,500s that are creeping up here in the Gulf of Mexico. And like I said, these are going to start, pulling their way up north as we head out through the day to day. And what's happening here is, say you got a high pressure, in the Western Atlantic, right? The winds in that high pressure go clockwise and go right up into the Gulf of Mexico, the warm Gulf of Mexico, and that's where you're getting your Cape energies, which is your convective, energy, and those are going to start heading north with those winds as we head out through the day today. So this is why we're going to be looking out for the chance of some severe storms that will head out through the day. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the ECMWF maximum wind gust at 10 meters here. And as you can see, we got 40, 50, and 60 mile per hour wind gusts here in the parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, Tennessee, in the sorts. 40, 50, 60 mile per hour winds are nothing to sneeze at. That is for certain. But this is only one model here. And, like I said, when we get to the severe thunderstorms and those supercell discrete thunderstorms, we probably couldn't exceed 80 miles per hour in some places. I'm sure that's going to be the case here. But, even with 40, 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, that's enough to make projectiles out of things that are on the ground, or, put out tree branches, or, pull down power lines and whatnot. That's, we don't want the power lines to come down, or that's going to be no power for anybody in that surrounding area. So, yeah, there's a look at that. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the GFS, which is initialized at 6C this morning. And we're going to take a look at what we might have in plan for today. So as you can see, parts of Oklahoma, Texas are getting in on this action. This is 12Z, so this is about an hour ago. So as you can see, once we head into the lunchtime hour, here we are, we're getting into the action here in Arkansas. And then once you get to Mississippi, it just blows up here. This is pretty intense convection here in parts of Mississippi. So that's going to be interesting days, times ahead as we head through the day today. Obviously here At 6C tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the chance of severe weather here in Alabama, and then parts of Florida as we head out. And then once we get to the 36-hour mark, it starts to fizzle out, and well, not fizzle out, but disappears from the map, and that'll be the end of the outbreak for you guys in the Louisiana, Mississippi, areas like that. Now we're going to take a look at the precipitation amounts here. And as you can see here, once we get to the 36-hour mark, we're looking anywhere from 2 to 3.5 inches of rain in some locations, but mostly here in Oklahoma, Arkansas, we got Tennessee, and parts of Alabama and Georgia here that are picking up on 2 to 3.5 inches of rain. Which, that is a decent amount. It all just depends on how fast that falls down, because whether it's a slow burn, that won't cause any flooding, but if it's a fast burn, there could be flooding concerns if you get some of those training thunderstorms that to train over the same areas over and over and over again. That's what we're going to look out for today as well. But the overall consensus right now is 2 to 3.5 inches of rain in some of these locations. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the HRRR here, and we're going to take a look at how these thunderstorms will evolve throughout the day. Right now, we got, like I said, we had some severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings already pop up this morning. And as you can see, as we head out through the next couple of hours, these lines of storms start moving into Arkansas and maybe some parts of Louisiana. And this is where it starts to get interesting, because now you see these pop-up supercells that are ahead of this line here. And these are those discrete supercells that we all talk about. These are the ones that produce the strongest tornadoes and the longest-lived tornadoes. And right now, the HRRR has a few discrete supercells here in Arkansas, Louisiana, parts of Mississippi in the next 6 or so hours. And you can see those discrete cells start to move northeast as these lines of storms make their way in the next 10 hours. Once this line comes in, this is where the straight line winds are going to start, really mattering here in Mississippi. Talking about 70, 80 plus mile per hour wind gust in this nasty line of supercells here. And as we head out through the day, it goes into Alabama and then Florida, and then at the 24-hour mark, it's pretty much disappeared. So the HRRR has some pretty, interesting things that are showing with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the total accumulated precipitation here, because once again, tornadoes, wind, hail are not the only threats with, severe weather outbreaks like this. You got to worry about the rain too. And that's a lot of, you don't hear a lot about the rain during these events, and I'm all about looking at all aspects of a severe weather outbreak. And as you can see, we definitely got some good rains coming here in parts of, Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Illinois. Yes, even this is all the same front here, guys. Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, parts of Louisiana, Alabama, all are looking at 2 to 3.5 inches of rain from the system. So, like I said, I don't know if this is going to be a slow burn or a fast burn, but hopefully, it all doesn't just rapidly all come down all at once here, or that's going to be causing some problems as we head out through the next couple of days. We don't want any flooding going on. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the NAM. This was initialized at 6C today, and as you can see, this is a pretty healthy line of storms here that are coming across through not Florida, but Texas here. I don't know why I said Florida. Yeah, but this is Texas. Just to double check. And as you can see, this is a pretty healthy line of thunderstorms here. that is making its way towards, Arkansas, Louisiana. And once we head out to the daytime heating of things, here we are. You see the discrete supercells here that are popping up here in Mississippi, parts of Arkansas here, and then they really start to pop up here in Tennessee, Arkansas, and then the line. That's a look at this very deep convection here in Mississippi. This is probably some of the deepest convection I've seen, in a while. So, you obviously might get some, very, very heavy rains here along with these, thunderstorms. And as you can see here, it heads through Alabama. You got some discrete supercells ahead of the line here in Alabama, and then some in Florida too. So, obviously here in the next couple of hours, I do expect a tornado watch to be put up for some of these areas, for obvious reasons, because we got a 15% significant chance, 50% to see a significant tornado, which I said was an EF3 or higher on the scale. So with that being said, once we get to the 32-hour mark, it should be all out of the area and going elsewhere. Usually, what I see with these systems is as it gets closer to the Atlantic Ocean, they start to weaken. So we're going to have to see how tomorrow's setup plays out. I might come back again tomorrow with another video for the East Coast, depending on what's going on. Anyways, that's going to be it for me for today. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want you guys to be safe. I'm going to start doing some severe weather, outlooks here as we, head out through the year and stuff, because I want to branch out a little bit. I want to help out as many people as I can, not only with, tropical cyclones, but I want to help with severe weather as well. I'm still a beginner at this, so, I'm gonna get better with time, but this is only my second, severe weather outlook I've done on this channel, so I hope I did all right for you guys. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.